we're going to be doing something a little different on today's art deduction segment. Over the weekend, Star Wars Celebration was going on in Chicago, and among the many things that they revealed and released at Celebration was a teaser for a new upcoming video game called Jedi Fallen Order. The first of the things they released was a couple of test images, teaser images, posters for the game. And a friend not some time ago was suggesting to me that I take some time and attempt to apply deduction to video games. And as interesting and strange as a request that was, I realized that those teasers might actually be the best images that I can start with, considering the fact that as soon as they released, I was looking at them with a artistic standpoint, trying to glean as much from the information that was revealed as I could. So today we're going to be looking at those images from an artistic and deductive point of view, trying to determine what we can learn from those images. And before I start, though, I want to mention that since I looked at those images for the first time, the teaser trailer dropped after that. And as such, any information that I may have seen, or anything that I may have deduced from those images, from my analysis of those images, may be somewhat skewed by the information that came with the trailer as well. So, all the analysis that I'm going to be showing you came before I watched that trailer. But the trailer is out there if you want to compare my predictions with what we see in the trailer and kind of compare. That's up to you. But let's get started. Let's begin with the first image. Roughly a day or two before the trailer was released, this image was released as a public teaser image, along with a couple of other images. And to be honest, I'm glad that this image was released because it actually has several points of interest. First of all, I'll draw your attention to the background, the stone surface with runes that remind of ancient Norse runes. Obviously, this is Star Wars, so unless they plan on introducing space Vikings, these aren't actually Norse runes, but it's still of significance. Finally, there is a lightsaber hilt itself on this image, which I will address as well. The background itself will be important later, so let's focus on the runes, symbols, and the lightsaber. As I've previously stated, the runes remind of Norse runes, like you see on a daily basis in your Bluetooth logo. Still, they're in contrast to the real Norse symbols and of any other Star Wars universe text. Yes, I'm a nerd, deal with it. This automatically indicates that the creation team wants to evoke feelings of history, perhaps trying to excite the idea that throughout the game you will be exploring the roots of the Jedi Order and traveling to locations of historic significance to the Jedi Order. Now let's look at the lightsaber itself. In Star Wars, a lightsaber is a reflection of the wielder, an artistic expression, important and revealing about the character itself. I told you I'm a nerd. So it stands to reason that the lightsaber hilt will also reveal things about the character in question, its owner. Taking that in mind, I see two very interesting details on this lightsaber that I've never seen before in any other lightsaber. Firstly, the hilt is broken, as you can tell, and the fact that it is broken indicates that the owner, the designer of this lightsaber, is also broken, and doesn't take time to replace or repair it, so he's holding on to the past. Now, looking at the symbols, I can't help but see a pattern. Do you see it? How about now? The rings look almost like they create a solar system of some kind. This is similar to something I've seen in Star Wars already once. Similar symbols have been used to indicate the ability to manipulate time or realities. So dissecting these pieces of art, it looks like it might be possible that this is linking to some greater mystery within the game of Star Wars universe. perhaps exploring new worlds where the Force is incredibly powerful, or another language, or less likely it could be relating to time travel in some way. It's more likely that this relates to some kind of ancient Jedi or Force-centered architecture that will become important in the game. Either way, the Force and history itself will be a centerpiece to the whole game. Now I want to talk about the logo next, and this is also where I'll draw your attention back to that background I mentioned earlier. Ignoring that EA has its name all over the place, I wanted to draw attention to the logo. It's relatively simple, and there's not actually a lot to glean from it, but if you're like me and you've been playing Star Wars games for a long time, you have to admit it looks somewhat familiar, reminiscent of another game from years ago. So does the background. It looks remarkably similar to the title screen and background for Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. The cracked stone background, the font of the text, the cold stone. It looks like the developers might have been influenced or inspired by this original game from years ago. They may even be trying to use the artwork to evoke these feelings and emotions, harkening back to a game that was beloved by the fan base. In case you haven't been paying attention, the news around Star Wars, fans aren't too happy with the ways things have been going. So, playing on a nostalgia feeling, something that the new Star Wars shows, movies, and games haven't been afraid to do before, seems to be a safe move for them. In my opinion, then, I think this game might actually feel something like the original Jedi Knight games, without being a reboot or directly connected to that series. There were some other pieces of concept art that were released for this game, but covering them would take us a bit off topic from this video, from what this video was centered around. But if you guys like this kind of topic where I'm talking about concept art and things like that, perhaps I can do something at a later time. Let me know.